Hello, welcome, Philippe. Please welcome the director of the film, Philippe Béziat.
Thank you.
I'm Richard Peña. Very nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm very pleased too. Very honored to be participating for the New York Film Festival, and I want to apologize about my English, which is not.
We'll do our best. I'll try and if you need some translation, I'll try and help.
Thanks a lot.
Let me start with asking you, there have been many films about opera. What did you hope in this film to do? What was your objective in this particular approach?
It's not the first I do on opera. I made one on Pelléas et Mélisandre, Debussy opera in Moscow, and I made another film, a second feature film about Lenos weddings, Stravinsky weddings, which is not really an opera, but is vocal or musical. And my aim is to talk about music through movies, because I think movies and opera, movies and music are very linked together. According to me, they are very similar in the way of writing and the way to compose them. And with Traviata, with Becoming Traviata, which in French is Traviata et nous, I hope to touch more people, because I guess Traviata is very well known, Nathalie is well known, and I guess maybe this film will be easier to be received by more people. I don't know if I answer your question.
No, I think you answered it very well. You have done opera films, but I'm wondering, was there anything during this production, during the time you spent there, that was a surprise for you, something you did not expect?
I make many documentary films for TV, and these 3 films for picture movies. And anytime you do a documentary film, you don't know really what will happen. That's the very pleasant thing about it. And I knew very well a little bit Jean-François Sivadier. I knew about his method. I knew about his very particular way of behaving with singers, which is rather different from a stage director I met before. But I didn't know very much about Nathalie, where I knew it, but not personally. And the very, very beautiful surprise was the couple, the pair they formed, the meeting of these two people. It was very deep meeting. When stage directors work with singers, it's always it's often moments of work very intense. But there was Nathalie was very thirsty about work, about theater work, very in demand. And I guess what Jean-François Sivadier used to propose to singer was the very thing Nathalie wanted to receive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have to say, as someone who does not know opera very well, I was surprised at the level of detail of the direction. I never thought that opera directors worked with singers like that exactly phrasing and whatever. Was it a surprise for you as well?
I knew it about Jean-François Sivadier, which is very. He's a stage director, very, I guess, a little different about the others. Because we often meet people with. We have a general idea of the opera, a general conception. We know a concept about what the Traviata is telling about the ethics. I don't know about maybe something. They have an idea about the opera, and they try to make actors, the singers, do this concrete, to realize, to concrete this idea. And this is not the way Jean-François works. Of course, he's got an idea, but his first idea is to free the singers about all his fears, about all his the things very difficult he has to do, because he's singing, he's acting, he has to do many things in the alone on the stage, and it's he's very aware of the position, the situation in which the singer is, because he is first, before being a stage director, Jean-François Zivalier is an actor himself. He's a comedian. His first work, he first started as an actor. So he knows it very well.
Let me ask you one more question before I turn it over to the audience. Could you talk a little about your work with sound? Not only the recording, which is very beautiful, but there were very striking moments where you had silence, and sometimes you would overlap sound, say, of the orchestra while we were watching the actors rehearse or whatever. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, when I'm making recordings for television, this is things you can't do, because you are transmitting a show. And this is my pleasure and my freedom in picture, in movies, which is a combination of sound and images. And this is maybe you may feel how people act without the sound of them acting. Maybe you can feel the musicality of a passage with other images, and I guess this is the essence of a movie, working with sound and images, but not necessarily direct sound, direct images. And I'm keen on the musical language, because I guess I think a composer is what a composer do is I guess superposer, I don't know, layers of melodies, layers of words. Music is made by layers,
right.
and yes, and I guess I think my way of making pictures, making movies is that way, layers which may not be like that.
even some counterpoint, contrepoint.
That's it.
Right.
That's a very good word.
Okay. Let me get some questions from our audience here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, gentleman back there.
Hi. How many cameras did you use, and what was your shooting ratio? How many hours of footage did you acquire?
The question is, how many cameras did you use, and how many hours do you think you shot? So just one camera?
One camera. It's documentary film. It's not at all recording of the movie, of the show. When I go on Opéra de Paris to make a recording of a show, it's 7, 8, 9 cameras. This is one camera, and we came back with 90 hours.
Wow, 90 hours for the 2 hours we saw.
Yes.
Wow. Did you ever plan to shoot any of the actual performance?
There was a special deal with French TV about the show, because the show was broadcasted from Aix-en-Provence, and we were very focused about the work, about the work before, and the deal was, when the show is on, my team will get away, and I first dealt the possibility to get some extracts from the show, maybe to have to shoot to take place in the film, in the movie film. But after some weeks of editing, we guessed it wasn't useful. It was so there is some sound of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yes.
It felt at times like the camera really wasn't there, even though it was in the middle of stuff. We always say that about documentaries, but it really seemed invisible. And when we became aware of the camera, it almost seemed to make them perform better, or it seemed like a third party outlet for your attention. Were there tense scenes that you had to edit out, or did it always go this smoothly? And lastly, you mentioned maybe a thing you want to like about Traviata. This seems like something I ought to do in schools, because it would really, well, me, for example, I thought of bringing it to schools.
Really, one question and one observation. The first is this viewer says he felt almost at times that the camera was invisible, that it did not make its presence known. And he was wondering, are there any moments perhaps that were cut out where the presence of the camera was more felt? That's the first question.
No, because well, my work and the work of my team is to get invisible, and to be because it's not easy for them to accept that there is a crew when first especially in the first days, the very first day they started the rehearsal on the 18th of May, and the day after, my crew was there. We were there, so it's always shaky, and what's interesting is to share with them all this time, the two very long time, 2 months of work, and after a week, 2 weeks, we are the same team. They do their show. We're doing that, and it's a unique team, and that way you can be animated. But Jean-François Sivadier was very favorable.
In favor of, very in favor of.
Film he was, and he was very interesting in the work of documentary. Nathalie accepted, but she has been filmed many times, and she accepted, but it was not her project.
Right.
And Louis Langrée, that you know very well now because he's in New York too.
Right,
and,
of course.
At the beginning, he was a little afraid to show some musical secrets, but after a while, it's all a question of confidence, of mutual confidence, and to be. They have to understand that we are not here to stall things that would be unpleasant, or that would be in direct relation with art, or with the thing important in the work, not to stall some details, right. So that's the first question, wasn't it?
The other really was a comment. This viewer hopes that you'll bring this film to schools because he felt it was very enlightening, very educational about opera itself.
I would like to. I was just before this meeting, I was in a mixing an auditorium studio for mixing the trailer of the film, and the lady was working there told me that a little girl, 12 years old, was fascinated by the film, because she was fascinated by this lady singing, seeing all this secret part of opera, and it's a little girl that don't know much about music, but fascinated by opera. Anyway, Jean-François Sivadier which is very keen of opera, because before directing operas on stage, he wrote a play in 1995, I guess, more than 15 years ago, about opera and about the rehearsal of Traviata. This play is called Italian avec orchestre, which means, I guess, sitting rehearsal. And he's in this play, he says that even people who don't know anything about opera, don't know nothing about opera, there is something fascinating about this way of expressing feelings, heart, soul.
The questions. Yes, in the back there.
How did you get the sound? And is the process of looking at the actual sculpting of art something typical of your work, or is this unusual?
Two questions. First, how did you get the sound in the film? It is really quite beautiful, and I hope you'll enjoy it when you come here and hear it in our auditorium. And
Yes, yeah, sure.
so maybe you want to answer that one first, then I'll give you the second question.
How I get the sound?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky because I have technicians. I have very beautiful technicians. I have beautiful people to do that. But what is very important for me, on the contrary of opera films, maybe that where the sound is in a way and the image is in another way. This is very documentary sound. It means that there is always someone with a boomer. I don't know.
A boom, yes, boom.
And there is always one people, which is called Laurent, and is always making the precise sound in relation to the
image.
To the image, man. And when we are far, the sound is far. When we are near, the sound is near. And it's very important for me to have sound, realistic sound. And maybe musicians are more used to studio sounds with something more glamour.
More mixing, maybe.
That's it.
Yeah, whereas yours is more direct.
We want to catch the truth of the sound, of the voice, of the body, and that's the first aim. And then it's very difficult because there are many people. It's very large, many microphones, and very technically very tough job.
The second question was really about your work in general. Is this idea of making films, documentaries, that really are about how a work of art comes into being? Is this something you've done before?
Yes. It was exactly the Péléas et Mélisandre, le chant des aveugles, the singing of the blind people, is about a rehearsal of Péléas in Moscow with Russians and French singers, and it's always about work, about the birth of art. And the second film about Stravinsky weddings is about the work of Stravinsky and Charles Ferdinand Ramu, the Switzerland, right. And it's about the how two people working together give birth to something very special, and with young musicians playing the whole piece. So this is very important for me, the reality of work in movie, because it's a way to do lively films, I guess. I hope.
Right. Yeah. Questions? Yes, sir.
I'm guessing you didn't show them the rushes. I wondered if the audience would be helpful for rehearsals. Rehearsals can get pretty tense. Did they see the film afterwards, and what did they think? And did they ever see the film while you were making it?
The question is whether or not during the course of the making of the film you ever showed either the singers or Jean-Francois or others any rushes, any of the material as you were shooting it. And then I guess the other question on top of that would be, what was their reaction when they saw the whole thing?
No, during the work, no, they saw nothing. We had their confidence, and well, we gave us an appointment after the editing of the film, not at the end, but just before the end, in order that they could give their advice, and in order that they could say, well, this piece, I would prefer it's not inside. Jean-François was very confident in that, and he was very pleased of the film at the end. And Nathalie, we showed the film to Nathalie, and she said some strictly musical things about the film. She was very pleased with the film, and we had after 2 or 3 weeks work again to take into account these advices. But I would have dreamt of maybe Jean-François would have collaborated to the film during the shooting of it, because he has maybe many ideas about it. But he was very, very busy with the show itself, and he has no time at all.
So, okay, I think we have time maybe for one more question. Yes, ma'am. The question is about the ending of the film. This viewer found the ending with Nathalie falling again and again very interesting, but wonders, was that always your idea to end the film? Because in a certain way it sort of, how can you say, lessens the intensity because we see it again and it becomes somewhat comic, really.
Yes. Well, the genesis of this ending is that moment very strange. Nathalie was very she wanted to try again, and the rehearsal was finished. There was nobody more on the stage. And normally when the rehearsal is finished, everyone is going out and it's finished, and she wanted to work and it's also this taste, this deep taste for work, deep taste for seeking, for trying again, is also the way of Jean-François works. And there was another idea about the ending of the film, because Jean-François and Nathalie also didn't want to stop working. Didn't want to stop working, because to stop working means there are the public representation, there are the show, and then after it's finished, and during the show is great, but maybe the pleasure of the work is different, is not exactly the same. And in Traviata, Jean-François, maybe it was I don't know, psychologically, I don't know how to explain it, but the death of Traviata, the falling of Traviata, was something like a taboo. He didn't want to show it to people. That's why the light is vanishing before she falls. She's on the stage.
He doesn't want us to see her death.
He doesn't want us to see her lying on the. He doesn't want the cliché. He doesn't want the canapé. He doesn't want the Marie Duplessis vanishing on the canapé That's why. And it was something of they didn't want to finish anyway in the libretto and in the work. So it's a motus perpetuo. It's
That's great. I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Philippe, thank you very much for doing this
Thank you for
conversation
you.
with us, and we look forward to seeing you in
Thank
New
you.
York. Thank you very much.
I'm very
Josie out.
pleasure. And
Bye now. See you soon.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to go to New York.
We're honored. Thank you.
Thank you.